Coming up, I'm going to be talking about how theatrical releases are going to have to up their game to beat Disney+. Also talking about how Disney is no longer selling its linear channels, and an update on the brand new FX series Shōgun. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com. Let's start off with talking about Bob Iger, because he took part in the New York Times Deal Book Summit yesterday, and he revealed some extra information that I thought was kind of interesting. So I'm going to go through a few highlights here. So up first, he kind of spoke about the idea of Disney selling off its linear networks. Apparently when he was talking on the CNBC interview earlier this year, where he kind of said, you know, maybe it's not core to their business, which resulted in deals coming in from the Byron Allen Group, where they offered only $10 billion for the channel, and there's been lots of speculation of what he might do. Bob was just like, well, I was just talking about in general and just floating ideas, and you know, everyone kind of took the wrong idea of it, and we're not looking to sell it. We've been doing some asset management stuff, and we're going to be keeping them. We still feel they're valuable. And he kind of look at it and go, well, Bob, you put it out there. You went on national television, on global television, and basically said, you know, he said, oh, I didn't put the for sale sign on. Well, he kind of went, we would like some offers and stuff, see what we can get, see if there's any interest. I think actually Disney's linear channels, they are important to the business. I think it's something that they can do which allows them to reach a bigger audience. It allows them to reach digital customers plus linear networks and stuff. And I think having sort of core channels like the Disney Channel, National Geographic, FX, ABC, I can see how that is good for Disney moving forward, consolidate some of those smaller channels and just create less content, and that then fuels Disney+. I think that makes a lot of sense in today's world. You're still making money from these networks. You don't really want to give that up, but you want to kind of offer to both audiences. I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I personally would sell off some of those channels or get rid of them. I don't see the need for freeform or anything like that. But apparently now the deals and stuff, he's not looking to do it. That doesn't necessarily mean that they either didn't get the money that they wanted or they viewed that it's more valuable to keep. I personally feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of Disney channels closing down in the next couple of years as each of those carrier charge deals go through, where those sort of cable companies are like, we don't really want Freeform and Disney Junior, we just want the cool ones. Can you give us Disney Plus with ads? And that's what I think is going to happen, the same thing that happened with Spectrum. So I think we're going to see a close down of them anyway. I don't know. I do wonder if maybe they've made a deal with Star for the Indian assets, because they didn't mention that at all. I wonder if that's enough just to kind of counterbalance the upcoming Hulu purchase this week. You know, they're only spending $8-9 billion at minimum this week. So I mean, it's this small change, isn't it? So that was one thing that got brought up. So yes, it doesn't look like these channels are going anywhere soon. And I don't think that's a bad idea. I think whether or not, you know, I don't think they'll even float them off to A&E. I think they're just going to leave that as it is. I think it's core to their business, and I think they need it. But I don't know, very strange. Also, during the same meeting, he spoke about how they need to kind of create, again, more focus on quality and less about quantity, and even kind of mentioned about the fact of, he wasn't happy what Chapek was doing, and so, that kind of all came about. But the other thing that was interesting was that he spoke about the idea that with their theatrical releases, they're going to have to up their game to get audiences to go back, because as far as he's concerned, Disney Plus is a great deal. He went on to say the experience of accessing the films and watching them at home is better than it ever was, and it's a bargain when you think about it. Streaming Disney Plus you can get for $7 a month. That's a lot cheaper than taking your whole family to a film. So I think the bar is now raised in terms of quality about what gets people out of their homes into movie theatres. And I think that is vital that they get this. They have to feel special. They have to feel an event. They have to feel good. And yeah, Disney Plus is cheap, and if you've got a nice big TV with a sound bar and you've got nice comfortable seats, and you've got, it's a lot cheaper to go in cinema. And I think, that is something that can't be understated as one of the core reasons why families are not going to cinemas. Everything else going on, but I think it comes down to money is the biggest thing right now. So yeah, they are going to have to do better. They're going to have to make better films. I think we are going to see longer periods of times between a cinema release and Disney Plus. I think they're going to have to retrain us a little bit, like we've seen with Avatar and Indiana Jones, where they wait a little bit longer. I think rushing films within a couple of months is not a good idea, because it does hurt the box office. And ultimately, this kind of catch-22 is chicken and the egg. If the cinema doesn't do very well with the box office, and they don't do very well, and the movies don't do well, you're not going to get good at movies to then watch on Disney Plus. It's the circle of life. You need it all to be working to get good movies. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with cheap, straight to streaming movies, which some of them are good, but they're not at that same level. So yeah, I do think it's interesting that they've addressed this, and I think they're definitely looking to try to improve the theatre going experience for their films to make it worthwhile going. And I think we're probably going to, but it's going to take years to do. It's going to take years. Nothing's going to be happening overnight. Now, also there was another big little incident that happened at the same event. Bob Iger was asked about the fact that, you know, they'd removed like some of the advertising and stopped posting on like Twitter or X, and he said, you know, they don't feel like it aligns with their business, but he thinks Elon's good. Elon then went on and basically said, "Go F yourself." I mean, just watching the video was like, and you're there sort of sitting going, Bob, why did you do this event? You didn't need to say any of this. You could have not been there, and yeah. Bob just needs to at the minute, just stop going to these events, stop opening your mouth, just let these things go for a bit and just stay out the sight, because he just waded into a big storm with Twitter, and oh, it's just a mess. But that's my little bit. I mean, I couldn't believe the video from Elon. It was just like, you're telling your customers to do that? Okay, that's kind of a bold step, but let's see how that one plays out. But yeah, so this is going to be interesting to see how all this comes around. So a very interesting event. A lot more noteworthy than I thought it was going to be, but let us know what you thought of all this in the comments below. Moving on from there, let's now talk about a brand new FX series, Shōgun. So this brand new series from FX is going to be 2 episodes coming out on February the 27th. So this is going to be coming out on Hulu in the United States, on Disney Plus around the world, and on Star Plus in Latin America. But here is the key thing with this series, is in Latin America, it's also going to be released on Disney Plus as well. So it's going to be on both platforms. This is the first time they've really done this for a major new release. First time really for an FX show, much more mature stuff. And I think this is, again, the start of the blending of the lines between Star Plus and Disney Plus in Latin America, because eventually I think they're going to do what they've done internationally, and I think what they're going to be doing in the US, where they're going to merge these things together. I think the idea of having Star Plus and Disney Plus in Latin America doesn't necessarily mean going to carry on much longer, but this is a big step. I think we want to see more of this. Obviously, we're seeing the same thing happening in the US with some of the shows like Echo and stuff. And hopefully we find out about more on Hulu on Disney Plus like on Friday or early next week, because essentially this is the last day today that Comcast owns a bit of Hulu, which is kind of quite strange really. But yeah, so big news down in Latin America. Hopefully hopefully we kind of get confirmation of what they're doing down there. Might be, again, a kind of a long drawn out process, but interesting to see what they're doing. And again, looking forward to watching Shōgun. This trailer looks amazing. I can't wait for this show. This is going to be, and again, they're calling it a global event, which is what these shows need to be. They need to be everywhere, all at once, on all their platforms. So it's going to be on FX channel. You want to get this out to as many people as possible and make it an event. And this is what Disney needs to do. And I'm hoping with having less shows, we see more of this where they can turn something into just a big global launch. And I think that's what we need to see. You know, we see it with Marvel shows, Star Wars and Doctor Who, and now Shōgun's going to be one of them. But let us know what you think of this in the comments below. With it being Thursday, let's talk about what's new on Disney Plus today. The big new release around the world and on Hulu in the US and Star Plus in Latin America. I can't wait till I no longer have to keep saying all of that. It's the season finale of the 4th season of The Kardashians. So if you've enjoyed the show, watched it, I don't know, but this series sometimes it did get a little bit grating at some point with just like how obscene amount of money that they spend on stuff, you know, and just like, oh, we've just done this and we just did this. It's like, yeah, of course you did, yeah. Nevertheless, if you enjoyed it, I've been watching it with my wife, easygoing TV and stuff. But yeah, so that's the big new release for today. Let us know if you're watching it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. And our question of the day, which comes from Aaron, who says, does this mean that Disney might finally start adding more classic content to Disney Plus in January? Because I have a theory that this is exactly what they're going to start doing. What do you all think? So I'm not entirely convinced it's all going to be happening in January. I do think there will be more classic content coming in the future. They're going to have to fill in the void with all the content that's not been created due to the strikes. However, I do think in the US they're going to be much more focused on getting everything ready for the launch of Hulu on Disney Plus, which is obviously going to go into full mode in March. So yeah, I just feel like it might not be the time that they want to push it. I do think they do need to ramp it up, and I think that would go a good way of helping boost up Disney Plus in terms of library content. But there's a reason why a lot of this stuff already isn't on there, but hopefully they do start adding things. But as we've seen over the last year, they haven't really done a lot in the past when they really could have done it. But let us know, do you think they're going to add some more classic content, or do you just feel like they've kind of reached that point, they're focused on Hulu? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. Go check us out over at what's on at disneyplus.com. Like, follow and subscribe. Let us know if you've got any questions for tomorrow in the comments below, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.